Okay, so today we'll just use a different method for meditation, which is basically one of the easiest relatively and one of the best methods that I have found myself in the sense like to be very helpful. It's basically our ability to delineate between the subject and the object. A lot of times people do have questions that, okay, if the consciousness is one, which is the non-dual state, the Advaita state and all that, but why do we really see duality everywhere? And why is it created? What is the purpose? So the purpose we'll never know because it's just like we have dreams. We don't have purposes, so they just come up. The same way the waves on the ocean, they just come up. The ocean doesn't have any purpose behind it. So all the natural things don't have any purpose. It's just there. So there is no point in questioning why is it there, because there were questions will come from the mind level, but the consciousness is operating at a much higher level. Well, there are no intentions. Consciousness, don't forget, is a thoughtless state. So in a thoughtless state, anything can happen. Anything and everything can happen. So we need to go beyond the question, why is it there? But one of the reasons, at least we can see from in our life from spiritual point of view, that it does become helpful in delineating and reaching to the state of consciousness. Because if the consciousness was just by itself in a non-dual state, there was no way to perceive it. So we thank God or godliness, whatever, that there is a duality. There is a duality, so the samsara is created. And through the duality, if somebody is wise enough to delineate the differences, they can start climbing the ladder of the spirituality. But most of the people do get lost in it, in the samsara, because they think that objects are the only thing there is. All the physical objects, the people, the situations, they run after it, and they lose their whole life behind it. So the idea is to be able to realize the difference between the subject and the object. So if you really realize that in samsara, the divisions are there, the subject and object are different. If I look at you, you are an object. If you look at me, I am an object. So my body is an object. So subject-object relationship is going to be continuously playing around in the samsara. The thing is that only the people who have, or only the entity, animals or birds, whatever, who have the expressed consciousness through them, they can become the subjects. If a bird is looking for the seeds, seeds are the object, bird is the subject. Same way, if a cat is trying to catch the mouse, mouse is a subject in a way, but the body of the mouse is an object. And the agility of the cat is so much more than the agility of the mouse, that the cat is very confident that it's going to catch the mouse at any time, so it lets it play. So basically, the idea is that the subject is more powerful than the object itself. And the power comes from the consciousness itself. And that's where we start realizing that as you keep going higher and higher, the idea of the spirituality is to be able to chase or find the ultimate subject. And ultimate subject we can find, for that we have to go inside. So when we look at the objects outside, of course, you are more powerful. Look at the computer, but of course you are smarter than a computer, because you can take the plug out and the computer is dead. So you can create a new computer, whatever may be the case, but at least you are in charge. But then when the difference comes in, like we always talk about, is when we go within, when you start being able to objectify the body, then the mind starts becoming more powerful. You can start seeing the difference between your mind and the body. So whatever is observing, whatever is the subject at the moment, always going to be much more powerful. And then, of course, the ultimate state is where you can objectify your thoughts. So thoughts are kind of very subtle. So you really have to narrow it down, starting from the physical structures, like a sun or the room or computers or a lamp which is lighted up, down to the sun, and then little by little more and more subtle things like solar energy, solar heat, then your heartbeats, and then your breathing process. And the breaths are one of the most subtle things to observe, because you cannot really differentiate. Objects are different from each other, but one breath is never going to be different than the other. So one of the most effective method is, of course, following the breaths also. But ultimate goal is to make the awareness, our inside awareness, more and more powerful, so that it can get very expert, pretty much more able to delineate even the incoming and outgoing breaths, and or very subtle things it can picturize within the awareness. And then little by little, ultimately the objects, as you know, can exist only if we are aware of the objects. When we are not aware of them, they don't exist for at least that particular moment. So the existence of all the objects which are existing in the sansar the whole sansar exists only because of our awareness. So ultimate goal of spirituality is to find out what survives. And what survives is the consciousness, and that we will know in the meditation. And whatever survives is also conscious. So the existence, which is conscious, is the ultimate entity that we have to be able to experience within, by intensifying our awareness, by being aware of the awareness. That way you can start negating all the objects that you were aware of. So this is the process. And if you really, and the question is, why do we really want to do all these things? Why do we not want to run after the object? Because objects are so many. There are so many differences between the objects. One person is going to be different than the other. One object of food is going to be different than the other. So we keep on chasing and choosing all the time. In the world of objects, we're going to get lost, and we do get lost. So that's why finding the subject is the most important thing, because subject is only one. There is no way to duplicate the consciousness, because it's infinite. Infinity cannot be duplicated, because otherwise it will lose its name, infinity. That is the whole purpose of meditation. So we're gonna, sorry, I had to repeat it for the benefit of others. So close your eyes and back straight, palms resting comfortably. Also, what I recommend is, when you close your mouth, keep your tongue suspended in the middle, not touching the palates or the floor of the mouth. Keep it suspended right in the middle. Gentle smile on the face. And as we know, we'll start with Omkar, and we'll follow the Ma to the end and beyond. Deep breath. Oh. Just be aware of the silence. Just be aware of the peace. The Omkar Nad is not just vibrating in your body, in the cells, but in the surroundings. Because your body and the mind is a product of the 5 elements which are also around you. Oh. If you are very careful, and if you are doing meditation for a long time, you can jump from the Omkar Nad to the Anahat sound within, which is the first sound created at the beginning of the universe. It's the cosmic sound, bypassing the body, the mind, the thoughts, surroundings, everything. You can find the correlation between the chanted Omkar to the Omkar of consciousness, the Pranavnad. Oh. enjoy the peace and tranquility of the cosmos. Cosmos is everywhere, even right here. And the perpetual anahat sound of Omkara, Pranavnath, is vibrating everywhere. In the presence of this divine sound, be aware of your consciousness. You have two things. You have the anahat sound, and you have the awareness. And you exist. So listen to the Pranavnath and enjoy this cosmic existence. The sound almost like cicada or crickets. It's anahat. It is created without ahat, which is banging of two objects with each other. Anahat is spontaneous, swayambhu. Realize the existence of awareness. With this awareness, analyze your life so far. How many objects did you run after? How many people you ran after? How many situations? How many foods you enjoyed? How many countries you traveled? How many people you met? There is one thing in common to all of them. You utilized your awareness to know these objects, people, situations. Once you knew them, you forgot about the awareness. But awareness never forgot you. It was always there, at your command, always available to do whatever you wanted to do in life. It is time now to pay the tribute to this beautiful, beautiful consciousness. So analyze in your mind all your life journey. Your body was changing 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. All those things you remember because you utilize your awareness to recreate them. Recreate the image of your body, image of objects, people, situations in your chitta. And you withdraw yourself from the world and be aware of your body. The consciousness is seeing your body. You are aware of the body. Body is not aware of the consciousness. Body is that mouse keeps on running. But the consciousness is that cat keeping a sharp eye on the body with full awareness, full attention, total attentiveness, so it does not escape. Keep the awareness sharp. Observe the posture of your body. Observe the gentle breathing that's going on. Your chest is expanding and contracting. Breath is coming in and going out like bellows. And it's fine. whoever is doing it, whatever is doing it, let it be. But remain conscious. If you do have any thoughts, also let them be. Thoughts are also like running mice, and that's fine. They also exist because you are aware of them. Withdraw your awareness. Objectify your mind. Mind is the object. Consciousness is the subject. Remain fully aware of the awareness and enjoy it. Enjoy the full light of awareness. Now, awareness is not something you can objectify, because to bring it in front of you, you need awareness itself. There is no way to manipulate the awareness. You cannot objectify the awareness. Awareness is the subject. Awareness is the object, both. This is where your journey ends. You cannot go any further. All you can do is get deep in it, like in the depth of the ocean. In the ocean of consciousness, float in it with awareness. The awareness is your light. The self lighted up the light. Swayambhu again. There is anahat sound, and there is light of consciousness. Be in it. Go deep in it. All the way down in the direction of your navel. That's where the prana entered in your body. That's the path you want to take. Your mind is there to deal with the sansara. Mind calculates. Mind watches for the wins and losses, praises and insults. It does the counting. We don't need the mind. Sink further deep. Go to your heart center. Hold on to the awareness right there. And see the difference in the quality, how you look at the world. Instead of the mind level, look at it through the heart level. Heart is a lot deeper than the mind. Heart is where there is love for everyone. There is stability. There is unconditionality. There is no counting. Just absolute peace. This is where you stay. This is where you live your life from. Just deep state of divinity, full of compassion for all its creations, irrespective of what they look like and what they do, what they don't do, nothing. It takes everything and everyone in its lap. It embraces all the objects Objects are confusing. The throne of consciousness, deep-seated consciousness at the heart level is comfort, is the experience of totality, completeness, sense of reaching somewhere instead of running. In here, you forget the mind, you forget the running, you forget the objects. Only the empire of the subject, the consciousness, remains in a deep state. Enjoy your play with the divinity. Enjoy the comfort of the lap, of the heart center. Experience the unconditionality of the love for all. No complaints, no objectives, no objections with any situations of life. In peace and tranquility. Gradually start raising your awareness to the Vishuddha chakra, Agnya chakra, and your mind and your thoughts and awareness of the surroundings. Rub your palms, rub your face, open and close your eyes.